So Paul has given us this list of 30 different aspects, characteristics of our relationship compared to the world's perspective. And now we're at the last of the list, number 30. All things. You might remember when Peter and John went to pray, all the way back in Acts chapter 3 is where we read this story. They went to pray, and there was a man laid out at the gate called Beautiful, the Beautiful Gate, and he was begging for alms, as was his lifetime custom. And he looked at Peter and John, and they looked at him, and he expected, because they made eye contact, this beggar expected alms as an act of worship from these men who were going into the temple to pray. And you remember the story or the song. Peter looked at him and he said, I don't have any money. I don't have any silver or gold, but what I do have, I give to you. In the name of Jesus, rise up and walk. And he reached down, grabbed his hand, and pulled him to his feet, which no one had ever done. And even though Peter and John had no money, they had something even greater. And it's that kind of contrast that these 30 different traits and characteristics point out to the believers in Corinth and here in Fremont and wherever you are, Binghamton, New York, or Edgerton, Ohio, or Quincy, Michigan, Angola. I know that we have brothers and sisters that are engaged in this whole list of characteristics and traits in how the believer has eternity in view. The believer's heart and joy are anchored and tied to Jesus himself. So there's no circumstance on earth that can change that. And our hope, our goal, our interaction with everyone around us, in our homes, in our neighborhood, the workplace, and in our church families, is guided, guarded, and motivated by this eternal perspective. So as we look at the difference between the world's view, we look like we're brokenhearted, and yet we're filled with joy. We look to the world like you don't have anything, and yet we're making many people rich. We don't own anything, and yet we possess all things because we are children of the King. We are brothers, co-heirs with Christ himself. And so there's nothing in this world, none of these worldly possessions hold any value for us. They are usable, they're good tools, but they're not the purpose for which we live. We don't get out of bed to gain more stuff. We get out of bed to share Jesus Christ. We walk out of the house with this intent, and sometimes it's in the back of our mind, sometimes it's in the forefront, but we want to tell somebody about Jesus. We want to accomplish his business in our days. So as you're moving through your day, I pray that you recognize we have many blessings to count. Most of them are not physical. Most of them are not temporary. These blessings are spiritual and eternal. And as we live in this life, as we have this physical experience, let's bring honor and glory to the name of Christ in all that we do. God bless you. He loves you, and we love you too.